Hey everyone, it's me, Joe Saiyan. Today we're going to be doing a build video for Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra, but before we begin I need to point out a couple things. So if you don't want to listen to this intro, please hit the timestamps in the description or comments below to skip ahead. Now, I currently, at the time of recording, am a part of the Squadra Creators Program, copyright of Bird Studio, SHUEISHA, TOEI, Animation, and Bandai Namco Entertainment Incorporated. Now, with that being said, Squadra is a free-to-play MOBA game designed to be played 4v4 competitively, and I am saying that I am by no means a pro. So, I'm not a pro, MOBAs are skill-based, future updates can invalidate the builds, and moving forward, build suggestions and card suggestions and skill suggestions are all only suggestions, and you should adjust as needed based on your skill level at playing this game. Thank you for watching, and let's just go ahead and get right into it. Alright everyone, it is Squadra time again, and today we are going to go ahead and go through Android 18's build. Well, her suggestions. We're going to go over her breakdown of her abilities and her kit, and we're going to go ahead and give you some suggestions for skills and what cards would work best with her. So let's just go ahead and drop right in. Alright, so starting with the breakdown of her abilities, the first thing to go through is going to be her passive. Her passive has the ability to grant buffs against a quote-unquote assault target. The assault target is a stack specifically for her. You apply a stack to enemy heroes when skills or powered up attacks land, and then you deal more damage to those enemies with enough stacks to trigger it. So when you're fighting enemies, you're going to see there's going to be like this little tiny diamond-esque counter right below them. Essentially, every single time you use a powered up rush attack or one of your skill 1, 2, or 3s, I don't think it actually counts the super attack, but essentially once you get those built up, you'll be doing more damage every single time. Now, the rush attack is just a normal physical attack, but it becomes powered up immediately after using a skill. And the Destructo Disc is the skill 1. It's just a real quick little key blast that actually searches out the target. If they have less HP, then this actually does more damage. Lightning Step is just a very quick dash in a set direction and kicks the enemy. It does deal more damage the more assault stacks that the enemy does have. So you want to max out your stacks on that and then use skill 2 essentially. Excel Dash is a lunge attack in a target direction. Basically you just do quick super fast dashes back and forth. You can do this. You used to be able to do this a specific amount of times, but now they have actually limited it to if an enemy hero is KO'd during the attack, you can reactivate it. Unfortunately, this is limited to heroes, which means that if you hit enemies, normal enemies, technically it shouldn't activate, but I believe it still does. So, this used to be a very strong ability, but it no longer is that crazy. Super attack is Heartbreaker, basically warp to a target enemy's location and deliver an unavoidable staggering attack, and it deals more damage while in an assault target. After the attack, a shockwave deals additional damage, KO or assist KO against an enemy hero, and the cooldown for the skill will be reduced. So the more kills you get, the more the cooldown will be with the super attack, and the more assault target tokens you have on an enemy, the more damage it'll do. Now it does say that it is a warp, but it's actually not a warp necessarily. It's still an area of effect you have to use around them. So if they get out of that area right before you activate it, they still won't get hit, but it does technically warp. It's just a very short distance. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and go over her abilities and the differences between level 1 through 3s on each one of them. So we're going to start with the Destructo Disc at level 1. You have this much of a range, just going to go ahead and shoot that. You do get 2 stacks to that, and they have about a 5 to 6 second cooldown. Yep, 6 second cooldown on each stack. You'll notice that you do have the assault targets right under here underneath them. Right when you throw it, there you go. Because you used a skill, you'll get a powered up rush attack, and then you'll be able to hit it again. And because you do have 2 stacks of your destructo disc, technically you should be able to just kind of go back and forth, but I'll show that in just a sec here. Let's show level 2 of the destructo disc. Much wider range, a little bit longer. So, boop, bop, boop, bop. So you can instantly get up the assault target right there. It does not last long though, so that is something to keep in mind about the assault target. Go to level 3. You still only have 2 destructo discs, but you have a much wider range and a much longer distance. Huge increase of assault targets. Also, keep in mind, even if you don't see them within range, you still are marking them with the assault target right here. You only actually do have a quote-unquote token on them once you've applied all 4 of these stacks onto there. Now let's go ahead and look at the lightning step here. And then there we go. There's just the 1, 2, 3, bam. All right. Pretty long cooldown though, about 12 to 14 seconds. There we go. Try this again. Oh, Vegeta died. Darn it, Vegeta. All right, we'll just go ahead and level it up. A little bit longer distance. And remember that when you do deal a kick there, I think it actually stuns them slightly. So at level 3, you do have a much longer distance. Now we'll go to the Excel Dash. Now, remember, this used to be a much more powered up ability where you could do this constantly, but you no longer can do that. You can only do it once or twice. It used to be 3 to 4 prior to the patch. Whether or not they will change this again in future updates is hard to say. But as of right now, this is pretty much the best you can do. And it is a pretty long cooldown at about 12 seconds. Let's go ahead and look at it at level 2. There's 3. And here is... Yep. So, definitely does a little bit of decent damage. Can use it to really stack up a lightning step quite a bit. Let's go ahead and take a look at the super attack. So as I said before, technically, yes, you do warp, but it's such a short distance that, you know, you're not really warping per se. Nice chunk of damage, even though we didn't have all of the assault targets on there. Big long cooldown at 90 seconds, though. In order to get this to go down, let's see how much we can, how much it goes down after we KO Vegeta. Not very much, unfortunately. It does seem like it's only about a second, maybe, and that's being probably generous. Yeah, it's only like a second or 2. It's not a huge cooldown, but obviously if you get a good team wipe in there, you can probably get some good decreases. It's just not very huge on that. Alright, let's go ahead and increase that, because I want to get this... Alright, much wider range on the super attack there. Remember, you do have to get them within this cone right here, but once you do get them in the cone, essentially anybody that's within that area will take damage, potentially. Huge amount of damage. Let's try going up to level 3 and see what we can do here. So I'm going to increase Vegeta's level up to a normal level now, if not higher. And let's see how much damage we can really dish out here in a second. Oh, wow. He's already almost dead. Wow. She just does so much more damage. I mean, mind you, right now, she is outfitted with a full card, red card build. So she does have more damage, but even then. Let's see. Hold on a sec. I want to see just how much damage we do with the super without any stacks. So we didn't even break his entire shield. Like, his armor is still up there. So let's see what happens when we actually have the stacks applied. Instant KOs at 20 or 2, or yeah, I think it was 20k. I think that was 20k damage right there. So definitely super strong. I would definitely say it can do very well, but only after you actually get the assault target on there. So, yeah. As far as helpers go for 18, I would probably have to say Nail would be best, just because she's already up close and in everybody's face for the majority of the time. And because she's always up close, Nail is probably the best helper to really be launching up against them. You see, I would say World King, but World King doesn't move with you. And that's the thing about 18. 18 is going to be constantly on the move. World King does have a nice AoE kind of effect, and you probably can still try to throw it down right before you use an ult, perhaps, or something like that. But I just still don't feel like it's going to be as beneficial as, say, Nail will be just on the go. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't use World King. I'm just saying that 18's a more mobile character than some others are. There are characters that can more benefit from World King, such as characters that launch key blast based supers and ultimates like a Spirit Bomb or something. You know, you can safely throw it down and activate it kind of from a distance, whereas with 18, she's going to be probably catching you off guard. Bergamo's not a terrible choice. 18 can technically get into a little bit of trouble. She doesn't necessarily super quickly destroy the enemy. I mean, she still technically does, but she's a burst character that needs to be present right in front of your face first and foremost in order to actually get her assault target up. Because once she gets her assault target up, then she'll be able to actually pretty much auto KO you. But if you don't have that assault target on top of your head, then she can't auto KO you, and you could just kind of retaliate. There's a big open space right there, essentially, and I think Bergamo could definitely either save her or at least help to keep people off a tower. Now I'm going to go ahead and go over the skill suggestions, and once again, these are literally, as the word implies, a suggestion. So I do have two builds for you specifically for her. The first build is going to be focusing up on kind of a more like well-rounded-ish kind of ability. You're going to focus up on the Destructo Disc skill 1, level 2, and 3. It's just so easy having 2 stacks in that ability to be able to just use on the regular. 2 stocks, excuse me. And probably the quickest cooldown out of all of her abilities. Mind you, it still takes the same amount of time to recover both of the stocks, versus both of these being about 12-second cooldowns, whereas hers is 6 seconds for each stock. You can at least use it sooner rather than later and really build up her assault target right away. Now with the skill 2 kick, that's probably going to do an increased amount of damage by comparison. What you could do in times where you don't have your super attack active or available, you build up the assault target with your skill 1, and then you kick them away with the skill 2. Skill 3 is still very good, and it still works pretty well, but I just feel like it's so much faster with the Destructo Disc, not to mention the Destructo Disc just gets stronger at the lower the health the enemy has. So essentially, you're already using it to build up a huge damage boost, and then once they hit below an HP threshold, all of a sudden they have the assault target, so you're doing more damage, and then you also have it doing more damage just as the skill implies. So it's just a really nice ability to get maxed out first and utilize to the best that you can. I think you're going to be doing a large portion of damage with the skill 2 majority of the time. Probably getting your kills with either skill 1 or skill 2. Skill 3 is nice for kind of middle late game, where you can just go pop, 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 pop and get it up. But obviously you can also do skill 3 over skill 1 if you so choose. It's just a longer cooldown, and if you miss your target, it definitely causes issues. Now, with the super attack lowers based on you getting KOs and KO assists, and it's not too long of a super attack, but it'll definitely also destroy mini bosses, hopefully. So you definitely want to focus up on trying to get that. The only reason I went for a level 11 with skill 2 in this build was because I'm trying to kind of even out the build as she's progressing. This is more of trying to be an even build all around. But with her skill 2, if you really want to just focus up on putting a huge amount of pressure all at once, then I would probably suggest using the Destructo Disc and then using your level 7 skill point once you hit level 8 to just pump it into your skill 2 to hit level 8 twice in a row. At this point, then you can focus up on your super until you hit level 10, of course, and then you have to apply it to skill 3. But essentially, this kind of build is kind of more of like a rush build, like you're applying more damage all at once. You're still staying safe with the skill 1. And I think this is just kind of the best way to really run about with her. I know there's a lot of people that like using skill 3, and I get it. I do. It is fast to get up your target, but at the same time, you have more utility with the skill 1 at the end of the day, and it's a lot more menacing too. The skill 1 puts on a bit of pressure visually, not just actually putting pressure damage-wise. So that's just my suggestion, though. Please do let me know what you would change or what type of skill build that you progress through. Now we're just going to go ahead and move on to the card suggestions and be done here. So I do have 2 card suggestions for you. The first one, of course, is the standard kind of attacker build. You have your snowball, your barrier, and then your limit breaking jump. 18 is a character that can get caught off guard. She is not necessarily tanky or very sturdy. So barrier definitely helps to save you at the beginning of stacking up the assault target so that you can kill them. You can probably stack up the assault target before the barrier ends and actually get the kill off before they can actually kill you if you have the barrier up. Otherwise, Snowball, Giant Slayer, and Pursuer are probably the best way to go. You're going to be spamming your abilities to get the assault target, so you're just going to do a crap ton of damage and have that huge speed boost at the end. And the last one is more of kind of a more passive kind of thing. It's more to kind of pick at the enemies and stand your ground every now and again with the other build. So this first one up top here is a strategic escape. It's increasing your speed dramatically when trying to run away from a target. Early and mid-ish game, you're probably going to run into a couple scenarios where you're not going to kill right away, and that's just going to be how it is. And you might need to actually bail, which there's nothing wrong with that. And with using 2 blue cards, you're lowering the cooldown on all your skills. So this is kind of a win-win here. You still want to keep at least 1 damage card with her. And I felt like Giant Slayer would be better than potentially than Pursuer here. That, and I don't like any of the other level 2 blue cards. Otherwise, build-up isn't necessarily a bad card 1. I think it does make up for her lack of defensibility quite a bit. Meanwhile, you can just go on with your Giant Slayer and Pursuer once you get those acquired. You are losing quite a bit of damage with Snowball, but the amount of damage she can output is still so large that you can technically, and to some degree, lose assault target. And if you hit to the point in late game where you feel like it doesn't matter if you have that defense, then by late game, you potentially either will be winning and have won the match, or you'll have gotten another card slot exchange where you could exchange this to Snowball. So I think that's gonna go ahead and be it for the build suggestions and card suggestions. I think 18 is pretty relatively simple. She's a very good attacker. Probably a little bit of skill oriented just because you really want to get those stacks in and bounce out. You have to really read the fight, essentially. Make sure that you don't lose any snowball stacks, and just bounce out if you are not able to kill the enemy. Don't stick around. So, but anyways, guys, let me know how you would build 18's skills and what cards you use for her. Remember, these are all just suggestions. We're all just trying to figure out what the best way to utilize these characters are on each of the updates. So, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day and a good night.